There you go.
Is it on?
Yeah, it's on. Look who I got. I got Gemini. I got my dog. This is Gemini. This is Tom Brady. Yeah, checking out Tom Brady. Okay.
There you have a clip of Gemini.
Good evening, everybody. I am your host, Jack Remington. And this video is my Super Bowl prediction. My devotion to Tom Brady is my hero in the NFL. I am a retired NFL handicapper that comes out every once in a while to relive the old days. This is my way of doing it. And I got the love of my life here, Gemini.
Gemini. Come on.
Right here. The love of my life. So my Super Bowl prediction, I'll get that out of the way, then you can turn the video off. But I got some important things I want to say. I am picking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to beat the young upstart Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. They are the reigning champions. The guy had a little shop on one of the strip malls across from the McDonald's and Target off Telephone Road in Ventura. The guy was having a closeout sale. The shop wasn't making it. And I bought every one he had. I had one Drew Brees, had two Peyton Manning, one Emmitt Smith, one Troy Aikman, and I bought 5 Tom Brady's. For some reason, Tom Brady didn't sell. Had a Joe Horn for the Saints, had a Tiki Barber for the Giants, 2 Ben Roethlisbergers. They were the first 2 I sold. Got Willis McGee. He was running back for the Buffalo Bills back in the day, and he had 5 Tom Brady's. And I asked him, I said, so why isn't Tom Brady selling? Because I've only managed to sell 1 in a year. I said, I'll buy them all. So I bought them all, and I've sold 3 of them. I got 2 for myself. I got 1 on eBay right now. So it's been sitting there for a big buy it now. And I don't care if it sells or not. If it doesn't sell, I'll keep it. All right, I'm going to put Tom down. I'm going to tell the world why I'm rooting for Tom Brady. He's 43 years old. He already has 9 Super Bowl. There's no script. I got witnesses here. I got my family members here. There's no script, no teleprompter, nothing. This is just me. This isn't here. Like I said, I'm a retired NFL handicapper that comes out on occasion to relive the old days, and no more betting, no more gambling, just fun. This is fun. And you know what? I'm having a blast when I do come out on this because it's pressure free. I don't have to worry about having to tell my wife how I lost $500 and didn't make the car payment. I mean, that's kind of embarrassing. So I know I'm making a little light of a joke there, but I'm rooting for Tom Brady because I know he's already had 9 Super Bowl appearances. He's won 6 of them. He has lost 3, believe it or not. I am also a firm believer in the best team always wins. To make 9 Super Bowl appearances is a feat in itself as a quarterback. There's several players that I think are tied for 4. There's several that have 4. Terry Bradshaw's got 4. Joe Montana has 4. Jim Kelly's got 4. He lost 4 in a row when he was with the Buffalo Bills in the 1990s. So it's hard to get to the big dance. There's 32 NFL teams, and the chances of you getting that top spot is 3.5%. This Super Bowl tomorrow is Tom Brady's 10th Super Bowl appearance. Okay, and this is the first one he's with a new team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I believe they were 7. I haven't looked it up yet. There's no script. I'm going strictly by this. I believe they either was 6-10 or 7-9 last year, but they were number 1 in the NFL in run defense, which has kind of faltered a little bit. But they've had a different scheme. They can chase the quarterback because they're protecting leads now. And so I can see where Bill Belichick is thinking, maybe I've reached the end of the line with this guy. There can't be any more upside. And I need to start retooling my team because my defense is falling apart. I mean, that's his job as a head coach in National Football League. Is you got to keep your team rebuilt and plug in like a plug-in for video editing all the time. You got to get a certain plug-in for a certain panoramic scene or a fisheye scene, or you want the mountain scale look for the Colorado Rocky Mountains. So you got to buy the plug-in, or you can just get it with your software. It's the same thing. You always plug in, I need a running back, I need 2 extra defensive backs. The first 2 guys got hurt. Defensive backs is the most carried team on the NFL roster, and most people don't understand that. But Tom Brady picked Tampa Bay because he knew that some of the pieces of the puzzle that he wants to play for were there. Good run defense, and then they could straighten out the pass part of the defense. He didn't have to throw a touchdown every time he gets the ball. He also had Mike Evans, a wide receiver, a couple other wide receivers that are just excellent. I mean, and Tampa Bay has a lot of team speed on the wideouts. They probably got the best, the number 1 team speed for wideouts in the NFL. So Tom Brady knew that. And to put a little sprinkle on the cake here, dash a little, put a sprinkle on the money line, as they say. Tom Brady's got the greatest tight end in the history of the game, Ron Gronkowski, come out of retirement. Hey, if you get me on that team, I'll come back one more time. And it was a no-brainer when Tom Brady went to the coach, Bruce Arians. I'll talk about him in a second. He said, okay, well, now we got the best tight end in football back, and he still got it. He doesn't catch as many passes, but boy, watch him in that Green Bay game. He did a lot of blocking, and when they left him wide open, he caught a big third down pass to keep the drive alive, and it was critical. So each play is critical in the NFL. You average 75 plays on offense in every NFL game. So each play counts. The public at large, they watch a 2-hour game, they think they know everything about the team, and that even includes me. We don't. Okay, you don't go through the team meetings. You don't sit through the locker room meetings. You don't watch the film. You don't go to the weight room, training room, out running the laps, rain, sun, snow, or shine. They're out there, and you got the coaches that are on your ass, but that's their job. Their job is to keep you in shape. You represent that team, and you're supposed to be in your best shape, because that other guy's going to be in good shape, and he's going to push you around and make you look like a fool. So there's a lot of pride in the NFL. He was the 199th pick in the 2000 draft, and the last pick for the 6th round. And the story goes, and you can watch it. There's plenty of YouTube videos about this topic, and I've got some of the information from them. It reminded me, Bill Belichick had just been he'd just been hired by Robert Kraft as the head coach, and Bill Belichick will not take the job unless he had a personal guarantee from Robert Kraft that there would be no interference. There would be, no interference. What I say on the team has got to go. I pick the players, I pick the trainers, I do all that, and that's it. And Robert Kraft made him a promise, because I promised not to interfere. They were in the draft room in the 2000 draft, and Bill Belichick's asking the general manager, he's asking the assistants and the scouting and everybody else, and this Brady kid from Michigan, why is he? No one picked him up. No, he's got the first 3 rounds. Nobody picked him up. Well, we got Drew Bledsoe. We had a couple of backup quarterbacks. They were carrying 3 quarterbacks. We don't really need a quarterback, but someone could use this guy. No, they just passed on the guy, passed on the kid. So he's still there on the 6th round and the 199th pick. And each team gets 15 minutes to make a selection at the NFL draft. And at the 14th minute, so the story goes, the way it was told to me, he told me over the phone that they used to have a timer, and they would, at the 14th minute, they would buzz, and they would count down 60, 59 seconds. They would count all the way down to the last second. And the Minnesota Vikings lapsed. They didn't get a pick one time. So, and I'll never forget, I forgot what year it was the Vikings did this, but you got 15 minutes to make a pick. And so when I got to the 14th minute, Bill Belichick said, I'm going to take this tall, skinny kid from Michigan. And he come off the bench, and he got him some good bowl wins, and he got him some good game wins. And, they were not supposed to be doing much of anything. I'm going to take the guy. And they already started yelling at him. And he goes, wait a minute. We got a few seconds left. We got to pick somebody. Let's take this kid, Tom Brady. Yeah, but he's not really, didn't play anybody. And they had all these excuses why he shouldn't pick him. He's going to be a bust. Don't forget him. There's plenty of quarterbacks out there. Get him on the free agency market get a retread. Pay him nothing. All that talk. He grabbed the microphone and said, the New England Patriots select Tom Brady. And that was it. The next thing, they started winning. But they really started winning when, unfortunately, Drew Bledsoe got hurt. And who was the number 2 quarterback at that time? Tom Brady. He got off the bench, and then he did okay. I think they lost that game. They were so far down behind they couldn't catch up. But he played well. He looked good. And then they were playing they were home underdogs, and Peyton Manning and Indianapolis Colts for the next game, and they smoked them. I mean, I remember that game like it was yesterday. And so the reporters started getting on the post-game conferences that they forced Bill Belichick to participate. It's part of his contract. And they were asking him, so Drew Bledsoe, he's coming back next week. Tom Brady's quarterback. What? You heard me. Well, he's an all-star quarterback, and he's the number 1 draft pick and the highest-paid quarterback in the league. Aren't you going to play your big player that you're paying his big salary to instead of that rookie, Tom Brady? Nope. Tom Brady's a starting quarterback. Okay. And then they won again. Then they started winning. And every week that became the first question they would ask us, is Drew Bledsoe going to be the quarterback? No, it's Tom Brady's starting quarterback. And it was kind of hilarious. And he never smiled. He's got that deadpan, dead delivery, the dead man walking. No blood in his veins, nothing but ice. Nope. We don't want to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers for the playoffs. We're worried about Cincinnati this week. We never look ahead. And then to his credit, his teams never looked ahead. And they just kept on winning and winning, and the rest is history. They won the Super Bowl, 14-point underdogs. They beat Kurt Warner and the St. Louis Rams. Then they won the following year. I'm trying to think who they beat the following year. They beat was it the Carolina Panthers in a great game. And then they had an off year where they didn't make it. They got beat in the playoffs. I don't remember offhand who beat them in the AFC Championship game, but they didn't get to go. No, I think it was the Colts. That was the year when the Colts got them. But they won the year after that. They beat the Philadelphia Eagles with Donovan McNabb, and Andy Reid was the opposing coach. And so they won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, and they had a few years where they would get to the playoffs, but they would get beat somewhere, and they would lose at the end. And then Michael Irvin got on TV and said, Tom Brady got his 3 Super Bowls, but they'll never win another one. And I thought, oh, okay. Well, that turned out not to be true. They got into some more Super Bowls, but that's when things started going downhill when they ran into the New York Giants twice in a 4-year span. Back to coaching. I want to talk about coaching. I'll segue into coaching. Bruce Arians is actually a very good coach. I think he's a better coach than Andy Reid. I'm going to tell you why. Okay, Andy Reid got stuck in some places where they didn't like to make changes. They're like the Pittsburgh Steelers. They don't like to make coaching changes. Their success is continuity and consistency. And you can't. They got 6 Super Bowl rings for that team themselves. Terry Bradshaw's got the first 4 as a quarterback. Ben Roethlisberger's got the other 2 rings. So you can't argue with success, as they say. And Ben Roethlisberger is a great quarterback in his own right. But Bruce Arians never got lucky to get land on a team that doesn't like changes. So he's been bounced around. He's been kicked around the league. He's been a coordinator. He's been doing it. He's out of football a couple times, tried college, whatever. But he's a very, very capable coach, and he knows how to motivate the players, and he doesn't, upset. He doesn't take the players off where they don't want to play for him. They want to play hard for him. And now that he's got Tom Brady to help reinforce his mantra of, we need to be more disciplined. They were like the second most penalized team in 3 years in a row. The Oakland Raiders is one of them. The Las Vegas Raiders were always, and the Chargers were always highly penalized. Some teams just have those kind of characteristics. Well, now they got Tom Brady. He understands you don't get penalized. Everything is planned. Everything is coordinated. Discipline. Planning. Pay attention. Get your slot. Get your spot. Remember the cadence. Do everything. Everything. Keep doing it until you get it right. And that's Tom Brady. And then Bruce Arians is on board with that. And I think he's a far better coach than Andy Reid. I'm going to talk about Andy Reid for a second. We used to make fun of Andy Reid. We used to say he's the worst coach in football because he used to do some dumb things when he was with the Philadelphia Eagles. He would override the offensive coordinator and call for a big pass and it would get picked off. And Andy Reid, his clock management was horrible. His play selection was horrible. And his game planning was horrible. I mean, you could see them getting tired in the fourth quarter, and they lost a lot of games in the fourth quarter. Andy Reid is the only football player in the NFL history, as far as I know, no book, no computer, nothing, no teleprompt, no nothing, no notes, no nothing. This is here. He hosted the NFC Championship game 3 years in a row. He lost the first two. I know the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat him the second time, but they finally won the Super Bowl, but they lost to the New England Patriots. Fast forward years later, they get rid of Andy Reid. He gets picked up at Kansas City. Now he's hosted the AFC Championship game 3 years in a row. 3 years ago, Tom Brady beat him at Kansas City, and then they beat Atlanta in the Super Bowl. Then last year, Kansas City beat who did they beat last year? And they beat the Texans, but they come back and they beat the Tennessee Titans. And this year they got the Buffalo Bills. They beat the Buffalo Bills. And I've been out of this football thing for 5 years. I mean, when I left the casino business in 2015, I left the football business too. There's been no more Vegas. One trip to Vegas in the 5 years, and I won the one bet. I picked a over/under. They had New England Patriots 12.5 wins, and we put through $100. We were $100 on the under, and they won 12 games. I won by half a game. There was many years ago. There was a 43-year-old boxer named George Foreman who was going to try to make a comeback after a 21-year hiatus. He gained over 100 pounds. He was a big thing, big bald. And he was a different person. He was affable. He was fun to be around. People started inviting him to dinners, and he got the George Foreman grill out, and he made millions off of that thing. And I got one in the garage somewhere. Just had to buy it just because it was George Foreman. But when George Foreman was 23, he gave no press interviews. He was mean. He said, "I want to kill somebody in the ring." I mean, he was a badass. Ghetto of Houston, parts of Houston, Texas. I mean, and he got gang jumped, and 5 guys jumped on him one time, and he was able to get away and inflict some damage on the way out. And then those 5 started running. Reminds me of that Jack Reacher movie that came out a few years ago. It's him versus 5 guys. When I saw that movie, me and my wife in the movie theater, I thought of George Foreman, because he had to take on 5 guys one time, and he was like 19 or 20 years old. George Foreman, he changed. He matured. He got better. But as he did so, I saw all that weight. I thought, he's going to get killed. It was hard for him to come back. I mean, he was a little slow. His timing was way off. You could see that. But he was up against a WBC championship against Michael Moore, who was literally 18 years younger than he was, 16 years younger than he was. And he was a decent fighter. He was okay as far as boxing goes. And he lost the first 9 rounds. We were sitting around holding my head, just not looking good. And pay-per-view, it was $35. Boom, boom, George Foreman knocked him out. And we looked at each other, and the entire room just stood. We were cheering because this 43-year-old guy did it. He overcame the odds. No one gave him a chance. He was a 11-1 underdog against this Michael Moore guy. I rooted for the old guy then, and I got to root for the old guy now. He's 43 years old, like George Foreman, and I got to root for him. I mean, as good as I talked about Bill Belichick selecting him in that 6th round and kept a 4th roster dead spot, what they call the dead spot. Okay, since the 1980s, no owner would ever tolerate a head coach or a general manager or anybody keeping a dead roster spot, because injuries creep up on every team in the middle of the season, no matter who you are, how good you are, how bad you are. All 32 teams, all 32 owners would have never allowed a 4th roster dead spot on the main 53-man roster, and you got 4 quarterbacks. I mean, you got 49 position players, but Bill Belichick, he did it for 2 years. The first year, Brady didn't play. Second year, Drew Bledsoe got hurt. I'm telling you. And people complained about that. This Robert Kraft, he's losing his mind. This Bill Belichick guy, he thinks he's Adolf Hitler. He's a dictator. He's got too much power for as a coach and general manager. This can't go on, but it did go on, and for good reason. And this guy named Robert Bell on pregame.com made a very, very important thing. This was 5 years ago, and I was still on the site. He said, if you had taken $1,000 when the very first start when Tom Brady beat Peyton Manning in 2001, if you had taken $1,000 and bet on Tom Brady every week, including playoffs and Super Bowl, you'd be at almost $200,000 ahead. Okay, that will never happen again. Okay, Bill Belichick sees 43-year-old guy. He sees that pick against the Tennessee Titans game that they probably should have won. Bill Belichick's thinking, I've reached the end of the rope with this guy. He's 42. Hey, Tom, it's that time. And Tom Brady's probably thinking, you know what? I don't think so. I can see Tom Brady getting up there and saying, getting in his face and saying, you know what, sir? I respectfully disagree. I can still play a few more years. Come on, Tom. You lost half a step, and you can't read like you want. You can't read the defense like you once did, and you lost a little bit of arm strength. Nope. I'm going to keep playing. Okay. Now, a lot of speculation that was an amicable parting. I mean, who knows? It's not for us to really speculate. It's not for us to really get into. It's none of our business in a lot of ways. But you can't sit there and tell me that he's not thinking, I got to win this Super Bowl just to show Bill Belichick he made a mistake by not sticking with me. And when you got someone like Tom Brady playing for revenge, I think that's a very, very powerful, motivating aspect. And I think you're going to see the game of your lives. I think this guy, he's going to put it all on the field, and win, lose, or draw, he's going to play his best. Okay, I'm not saying Mahomes is not going to play his best either, but I'm concerned about Mahomes because he got hurt in the Cleveland Browns playoff game. The game that the Cleveland Browns actually could have won if they had their heads out of their backsides. They actually could have beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, I was shocked at that game. Their little free pool for bragging rights, I took Cleveland in the points. I was the only one who took Cleveland in the points. Everybody else jumped on Kansas City. But I felt the 8.5 points was just too many. And if I'd been in Vegas, I'd have won a lot of money on that game. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs are very good. They got a lot of team speed, but I'm going to talk about Kansas City for a second. I want to take it back to last year's Super Bowl. They had made Mahomes ordinary. At the first 3 quarters of that game, his quarterback rating was 55. That's right. The first 3 quarters of that game, Patrick Mahomes' quarterback rating was at 55 because he had picked him off for a second time. He made it look ordinary. I'm not taking anything away from Kansas City, but I think I had the 49ers. I got that game wrong. But the 49ers had them beat dead to rights. What does Patrick Mahomes do? On third, they had sacked him. They had sacked him like for the 5th time that game. They had sacked Patrick Mahomes for the third and 18. He just chucks the ball up and almost sacked him again. He just throws the ball up in the air, and Tyreek Hill, the fastest guy in the NFL, happens to catch that air ball on the broken play defense on the 49ers. They were celebrating too soon, and he runs a zigzag and scored a touchdown. They got them back in the game. Two broken plays got them leading that game late in the fourth with 5 minutes left to go in the game. Don't underestimate Bruce Arians. He's a very good coach, and he's going to show you something tomorrow. He's going to outcoach Andy Reid. Now let's talk about the teams themselves. More specifically for the game, why I think we have a good chance, why Tampa has a good chance. Kansas City has 3, not 1, not 2, but they have 3 of their offensive starting linemen. 2 of them are not going to play. The third one's questionable. I mean, that's huge. I mean, and Tampa Bay has a good pass rush. And they're playing at their peak, and they sacked Aaron Rodgers, 5 times? They rushed him 7 more. They hit him like 8 more times. So the 20 pass dropbacks they got to Aaron Rodgers. And there's another reason why I want Tom Brady to win. There was a horrible article that came out. Oh, USA Today, some hack who I never heard of before, is trying to give Tom Brady some grief for his whiteness and supporting Donald Trump and this and that and this and that. I want her to send him some toilet papers. Here, this is for you, lady. He can support anybody he wants. He can do whatever he wants. Hey, Tom Brady is not a political person, and if whoever he wants to vote for, whoever he wants to support President Trump, I don't care. Okay, I support President Trump. Do you really care? No, we don't care. This is about football. It's about the game. This is about, recreation. Football is recreation. It's a spectator sport. Leave the politics out of it. That's what almost destroyed the NFL with Colin Kaepernick. And I got 3 videos on my other channel about that. And I was so mad, I couldn't contain myself. I'm so mad at that guy. And see, this cancel culture's got to stop. I am going to say that on this video. This cancel culture is destroying everything. You know what? We got to stop that. But so Tom Brady, I'm really counting on you tomorrow. I mean, you got to win this for us. I mean, you're the good guy. There's this USA Today, which is a dying newspaper walking. I've read somewhere. You know what? You forget them. You know what your mission is, and you win that game, and you show the world that you're 43 and you still got it. And you show Bill Belichick, you shouldn't have let me go. You should have stuck with me for a couple more years, and this could be your trophy. So I got to root for Tom Brady. I cannot not root for Tom Brady. They got the good pass rush. I think Tampa Bay's got the better wideouts. They got the best team speed on special teams and wideouts. The running game, it's probably even. The special teams, like the slight edge of Tampa Bay. But the quarterback, I'm not knocking Mahomes. He really might be the next guy up, but I personally don't think so because they're going to learn how to defend the little guy. He's not that big. He's fast for now, but when he starts taking a couple hits, he's going to slow down. You got to remember, Tom Brady was a good running quarterback when he first started, too, until Belichick told him to stop running. He was going to get the ball. He'd still get around him. I mean, there's certain players you just can't stop, and this is one of them. But I think that they could stop Mahomes. They're going to sack Mahomes. They're going to put the pressure on him. He's going to put the ball in the air. And Tampa Bay, they got decent linebackers who are going to pick that ball right out of the air. The 49ers, there were a lot of rookies on that team. They were the second youngest team age-wise on the roster ever playing in the Super Bowl. So they can be forgiven for their 7-minute lapse in that Super Bowl a couple years ago. But this team, this Tampa team, they're not young, but they're not old either. I mean, they got just the right mix. And I just think that Tom Brady, he's got to win this game for a lot of reasons. So, hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sure I'll be cutting a lot of this out because once I get talking, I get to talking. I just think that Tampa Bay's going to win the game, And I hope you enjoyed this video. Always a great day to be an American. Thank you.